So that was a better game for us overall as a team. We minimized missed assignments from the last game. So I told the team and the coaches in the locker room that I was proud of them. We're responsible for improving every game, and we improved. We still had mistakes, but we cut our missed assignments considerably, in my opinion, and we were able to rush the ball effectively. We ran the ball for 4.3 a carry. 4.5 is what we're looking for, but much better rushing the football, and we're much more physical in the second half. Our running backs broke some tackles in key third downs and situations to keep us going, keep the drive alive. When 6, 8, 10 minutes to go in the game, could have stopped us a couple times, but our backs ran through and made plays. And obviously Spencer played good again. He got caught in a disguise coverage and threw an interception on a quick game. But other than that, obviously ran well, handled things well. Did a really good job in the screen game, avoiding the rush, pressure, man coverage, hard to do. Played well. And we defended and we got pass rush. In the second half, we were physically running the ball, and then we were able to kind of look like our team last year a little bit, with pass rush and putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and making plays. I was pleased with our special teams. Arizona State's a really good punt rush team, and we worked hard on it this week and challenged our team, and protection was good, quarterback was good, punter was good, did a really nice job with that. So overall we improved, we got better. We still have a long ways to go, we know that. Fought through some adversity at times, and just got to keep moving. Look forward to another good week of practice and improving in areas. Had some guys get reps that hadn't had a lot, and they're young and immature, but they got another game under their belt. So we just got to keep plugging away.
Mike, Arizona State's offense hit you guys with a few plays there early on that first drive, and then you guys responded well. Was it seeing things you hadn't seen, or just
not really, a little bit, but not so much. We just made some mistakes, communication, and I wish I could tell you something else, but that's the truth. We've got to grow through that. And then they got us. They started the second half. They shifted to empty, and we had one guy that was halfway doing the right thing, and one guy got lost, and that's what happens. So. They're young, and they'll get that. But really, other than that play, the defense was really good in the second half. They caught us on the one pass where we didn't cover down.
You talk about the backs running well, but Dom in particular seemed like he really sort of blossomed tonight.
Yeah.
Breaking tackles and making people miss at times.
He did. Yeah, he really did. And ran physical. And then Ollie came in and broke some tackles. But we need Dominic to do that. That's the type of back he is. He averaged 4.9 a carry and ran through some tackles and did a good job of taking care of the football. They're well coached in tackling and stripping the ball. I was concerned about that, but they did a nice job, and Dominic played well in the second half particularly.
Last week it seemed the safety sparked you guys quite a bit. How big was the forced fumble tonight that brought force to get you guys going?
The fumble for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, a turnover's a big. We had an interception, and I would call it 2 turnovers because we forced a fumble and then had a 18-yard punt, which is basically a turnover. So, but at that time, they went back to the weak side, and we had a nice mesh charge, blew the thing up, and the ball got on the ground and recovered it. And early in the season, right, it's special teams, penalties, and turnovers in most cases across the country.
Mike, you figured to have an advantage coming in with the playmaking you have up front defensively. Those guys need to take their turns tonight. Marshall mentioned Martin's play, but Lacey, Ford, Colin Oliver in the first half.
That's what we have to have.
Yeah, right.
Those guys have to do it. We have to rotate them. Colin Oliver's going to show up. 89's going to show up. Brock's going to show up. 35 and 99 did a good job inside. Obviously, you don't see them as much because they're right down in the middle of the trenches. But those guys have to continue to make plays like that, and that's what we need.
How much did you see the defense as a whole improve from last week to this week?
I mean, that we were better, obviously. I mean, you could tell by watching the game it was clean. We had 2 or 3 mental errors in the first half, and they had big gains. And then in the second half, we had the big throw. One other time, we got out of position. They got the run around the left side going this way. And then the other ones, they made plays. I mean, the other team's going to make some plays too. So I'm going to say that I'm pleased, let's put it that way. I'm pleased with where we are. We got a ways to go, but I'm pleased with the strides we made from that game to this game.
After the struggles that you had, and you talked about with run blocking last week, did you feel that was going to be an area you could attack, or was it something you realized maybe early in the game and sort of shifted to that?
That you're saying that we could attack? Is that what you said?
Did you start to figure out that you could attack them there?
Yeah, so we made a couple of adjustments at halftime and allowed us to hit the crease. In the first half, and I would have to watch tape, but I have a pretty good idea on that side of the ball. I thought we were really average run blocking. And we challenged him at halftime. I say we, Coach Dunn and Coach Dickey and McIndoe, and I just kind of sit behind and cheered them on. But we challenged them. We're going to have to rush the football. And we were much better at it. Averaging 4.3 is good. They played a lot of really deep safeties, and they played a lot of 5 across back, and then they were inverting late, which means you have to rush the football. It becomes a numbers game. So we challenged them, and we were able to run the football effectively. I was particularly pleased with the last 10 minutes of the game when they knew we were going to run it and we could still run it. And that's a good way to close a game out.
Arizona State was only 2 for 13 on third down. I think both came on that last touchdown drive there. What do you think about your team's ability to get off the field on third down?
And that's where we were really good last year, right? I mean, we were fantastic on third downs, and that's why I said I saw some things tonight that looked a little bit like that. We're not to that point yet because we're still young, but I saw a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I don't think, in fact, the only time in the second half where I think he set his feet and made the throw was on the over route. The kid caught it, and I think he scored. And we didn't get much pressure. And he sat back there for probably 3-2 or something, and the guy cleared all the way across the field, and that's not good. So other than that, we got good pressure, and that's kind of how we've made our living.
How much has Bryson Green kind of grown the last few weeks? And tonight he had a big night in the flea flicker and everything.
He's getting better. He's a young guy that played just a little bit last year, but not enough to talk about, and he's going to get better every game. Those young corners and safeties and linebackers and Bryson and really Dominic hadn't played much until this year. They all should get a little bit better each game. I mean, if not, then we're not coaching them. We're not doing a good job of coaching if they don't improve each week.
What was where did the decision come from to go with the flea flicker there?
Where did the decision come from?
Yeah, was that
that's
Casey?
Coach
Was that you?
Dunn.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, he just made a good call, and quite honestly, the coverage they jumped in is not great for that. But 3 guys took the post. I don't know if you watched it, but they got into a high safety on that particular side and had a low corner. So that gave me a chance as a head coach on the headphones while it was happening. I said, Dunn, you're in trouble. It's not a good look. And then when they hit it, I said, that's a good call. But 3 guys went with the post, and that's why the other guy cleared out. Sometimes that happens.
Gave Jason Brooks some early run there in the first quarter. He got a couple of penalties. How do you kind of go about teaching him up on that?
There's just no need to talk trash. There's no place in the game for it. We talk about that a lot. You're wearing a shield of armor and a helmet and a face mask. So are they. So when the play's over, what are you actually going to do to hurt the other guy? And what is he actually going to do to hurt you? Nothing. So let's just play football. And I know it's a violent game and guys have egos and they get into it, but there's just you can't win games being emotional after the play. If you want to be really good, do it the next time the ball snapped before the whistle. And so we brought him out of the game and told him, because it's just not, you don't get anywhere. You accomplish 0, except you're going to get a penalty. So I'd prefer to not give the 15 yards up. He'll be fine. And we need him to continue to get better. And I'm going to guess just off the cuff without looking, we need to play him more. But when they lose their emotions, we have a tendency to not put a guy in because you can't really help us because you can't think. If you can't think, it's really hard to play. And that's anybody on our team. So,
Is that something that you think will get better the more he's in
sure.
the culture of things?
Yeah, he just needs to learn our culture. All right, we don't. There's not any place for that. There's no. You don't get an advantage, and he'll learn that. He's a good young man. He works hard. He'll continue to get more reps. He'll be just fine. But he just needs to learn the way that we operate around here, and it's not jawing with the guy or pushing and shoving after a play has zero effect on the game.
Last week you mentioned how the defense was a little slow communicating with each other. How do you think they were this week?
They're better. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, without getting in great detail, that we're improved, and that's what should happen. We coach them right, and they stay focused. I thought they practiced well this week. They should get better, and the communication should improve each week based on their experience.
Coach, what was your thought on getting Terry Miller back and celebrating him tonight?
I think it's awesome. I mean, when you think about Terry Miller, he finished twice in the top 4 in the Heisman voting, I think. Second one time. I think Dorsett came out of nowhere and had no, it wasn't his, Earl Campbell. It knocked it out of the park. Or how many other guys have finished in the top 4 twice in their career? I don't think very many. Most of you guys are kind of history buffs in football, but you can do your research on that. I don't think there's been many players finished twice in the top 4 in the Heisman voting. And I'm going to guess you're not going to see it from here on out, because if anybody finishes that high in the Heisman voting, they're going to go to the NFL. So you probably won't see it much anymore. But it's pretty rare what he's done. He was a heck of a football player, and it's well-deserved.
Tyler Lacey is a guy that's been pretty good most of his career and seems to be getting really good. Has he taken another step forward this year, do you think?
Tyler made a great decision by coming back and playing college. He could have been I don't know, 5th or 6th round pick. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing. But if he continues to work like he is, he's in a good spot right now. He's focused. He's training. He's developing his body, and he's gaining valuable experience. He can jump himself up in the draft and make some really good upfront money. Now, the team's important, but obviously that plays a role too. And he's getting better and better, and his body's developing. Right, the male body continues to grow and develop till you're 26 years old. So he's developing, getting bigger and stronger and faster. He made a good decision, and he's been a really good leader for us. It helps when your most experienced and best players play hard and practice hard. Then it's easy for coaches, and that's what he's doing at this point.
Mike, you didn't score your first 5 possessions. Brock Martin made that play to get you the fumble. You come out and you sort of changed it around. You went straight run the whole series. Was that by design, or what caused you to do that?
Well, that fumble got us going. I mean, we were struggling, and I kind of go back to what I said. They were playing way back, had everybody way back, and said rush the football. That's what they did. And so we just kind of migrated into rushing the football, which allows I mean we're going to run our quarterbacks when we do that. I mean, obviously Spencer's a good runner, and so we run some read zone option stuff with him when they're doing that. Gives us an extra man numbers in the numbers game. We have an advantage. And then once we start doing that, then it set up a little downfield throw. Then we were able to hit Braden Johnson a time. We had the flea flicker pass, a few things like that. But until we did that, until we rushed the ball some, we didn't have much. So that's kind of what they pushed us into.
He went to Ollie's second among the running backs. It's kind of what's led to he only got 3 carries compared to 2 last week. But what's led you to feel more comfortable with Ollie this week?
No, I mean, we feel comfortable. He's just young. I've said it a million times. There's just no substitute for experience, and 23 comes in, and he's got a little more experience. He can play some, and obviously when Dom's rolling and playing good, I mean, he's the guy that's the most experienced and now and is mature and physical, and Ollie will come along. Ollie's big and looks good and all that, and the times he's touched the ball, he's made plays, but he's still a freshman. And so rain was coming down, getting a little wet. Got to be careful with the football, some things like that. So the maturity is a big part of that. And, it's just difficult when you're a freshman to be able to understand and how to handle those situations.
How things are with Brendan Evers?
I think he's fine. Now, I didn't get any information to come up and said that he's out, so I'm guessing that he's going to be fine. Good. All right, guys. Thanks.